Black marriage is love.
Black marriage is family.
Black marriage is faith.
Black marriage is good food. Peace to you and yours. Welcome to Dinner and a Podcast, where Black married couples discuss love, family, faith, and food for the soul. My name is Ijlal. I am your host for tonight. I'm going to be holding it down, and I am joined across the way by my co-host, starting with my good brother Nasi, and he is obviously joined together with his lovely wife Nafisa, who is also my sister. And to the left of me is my homie lover friend, Leanne. What's going on, y'all? How's everybody doing?
Everything good,
Good. Happy Father's Day, good brother.
Yeah, happy Father's Day to you too, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you,
Father's
man.
Day, fellas.
Thank you. You know, we're gonna show some love. We're gonna show some love for this Father's Day episode.
Yeah. To all the brothers out there, happy Father's Day to you guys too.
Yes, man. To all the good brothers out there. You know what I mean? Holding it down, making moves with their families, representing. Happy Father's Day to y'all. Okay, happy Father's Day to each and every one of y'all. And that's you know, we're gonna be getting into it tonight, representing Father's Day. So, Dinner in a Podcast is broken into 3 courses, of course, as all of our audiences have come to know. First is the appetizer, the main course, and the dessert. During each course, we will hit you with some well-seasoned questions, you know what I mean? Some soul-stirring discussions. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of everything, you know? And, of course, some sweet reflections, right?
Yeah.
You know, we wind it down,
Yeah, wind it down a little bit.
And we're going to do that specifically with tonight's topic, okay? And the topic of discussion tonight is Father, the protector who stands firm. I'm going to say that again because that hit hard. Father, the protector who stands firm. That's solid.
That is.
That's rock solid.
I think so.
You know what I mean? That's solid. That's solid like the brother of Nasi solid. Okay?
Thank you, brothers. Back to the same.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's talk about the menu. Let's let the ladies get into this. I did last episode the brothers did it, and there's a reason why the ladies should do it. So
y'all did a good
go ahead, y'all. Go ahead. What we got going on? Go ahead, Nafisa.
I decided for our appetizers today, we was gonna have what's called a kale and grape salad. Okay, so it's a mixture of, we got some nice fresh raw kale here mixed in with black grapes, and we've got our beautiful toppings of feta cheese and walnuts in there, so give it a little extra crunch, with some wonderful honey and fresh olive and lemon dressing that I made homemade. So it's just all marinated all in there. And that's our appetizer. That's gonna accompany with our main, and our main is going to be a a chicken and tzatziki. I'm hoping I pronounced that correctly. Tzatziki. A chicken and tzatziki salad wrap, right? And got it nice and rolled up in our beautiful, nice corn tortilla here. And for dessert, which is in the freezer, so I can't bring that out just yet because it's hot over here and it will melt. My husband and I decided that we wanted to have some really nice, fresh, homemade sweet. So I decided to make some fresh baked chocolate chip cookies. After those are finished baked, I put up some beautiful old-fashioned ice cream and made a nice ice cream sandwich. So that's sitting in there. So that's nice and
homemade too. Very nice.
Yum.
That sounds so good. Look, you got me dribbling like the vampires and sinners, man.
What y'all drinking on for tonight?
Oh. Well, we decided to make a nice little a duo mixture. My husband over here is having a straight grapefruit pop, right? So it's got nice grapefruit juice with some salsa water in there to give it that consistency. I decided to blend some grapefruit juice with some pink lemonade. So I have
yum. All right, that sounds good. Hey now. Okay. All right, so for our appetizer,
I never know. I know once you put it in front of me and you mention it.
All right, so we have these mini naan bread and Greek salad. Yes, mini naan bread and Greek salad. Appetizers for tonight. It has hummus. It has little Greek salad. We have it, some goat cheese feta, and then it's topped off with a fig vinaigrette. And then for our main, we have pitas. So there's actually mushroom pitas with like Greek like herbs, and we also have some tzatziki. I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how we're saying it tonight.
That's how we're saying it tonight, with some sweet potato fries. And then we have, for dessert, we have a chocolate mousse, vegan chocolate mousse actually, that I made. And then it also we have homemade whipped cream, and then it's also layered with strawberries. And for our drink for tonight, we have a homemade sangria mocktail. Okay.
I know mocktails.
Mocktail. So it has the juice is apple and strawberry, and it has oranges, strawberries, pears, and pieces of apple thrown in there. So it's all got this fruity loveliness. With it,
just put it all up in.
Just throw it all up. Well, that's what sangria is. Like, you just throw some fruit in there, girl, and just,
It sounds delicious. You sold with the hummus and the naan bread with the mushroom.
So they're like little cute.
It's so pretty. I love it. It's so pretty.
Thank you.
So look. I mean, we ready. We ready to celebrate Father's Day big time. Okay, so I want to hit us with the opening question for our appetizer, and because I very much want to get into this appetizer kind of like undisturbed, I'm going to go ahead and ask that question and answer it first, and then as everybody else talking, I'm going to go ahead and try to make sure I don't eat it all by myself. So the first question, okay, for tonight, as we get into this appetizer, is how impactful is the patriarch in the Black family? Starting that off, in my opinion, the patriarch is mad impactful. Okay, he's the lead, the source, the guide, the info to how and how we going to do, and when given the right foundations, the proper support, he will represent those things to the fullest. That's short and sweet. Yeah. What you think? How impactful is the
I agree.
patriarch to the Black family?
I definitely think the patriarch is very impactful to the Black family. Growing up. Go ahead.
Thank you.
The Black household, I definitely think needs a father, a strong father as a lead, and the mother there to, support, the father. So it's definitely very impactful to the Black household. I'm so happy and so proud that I have my husband here, and he's an exceptional father to our children, and holds it down. And I only hope that I'm, a beautiful support to him, with all the things that he does for us, so absolutely.
You are.
Thank you.
You make me great.
I know.
Nafisa?
100% everything that y'all are saying and more, because I'm one who firmly believes 100% that Black fathers are so essential in our homes. They really are. And yes, I understand that in today's world, we big up the Black mama, because the Black mama has held down so many households for generations. But we don't give the fathers their due, and they're really out here trying. They're really good with their kids. They're clearly evident in a home, especially beyond the scope of discipline, but even with emotionally. Like, I have boys, when their father's not here, it shows. Not that they disrespect me, not that they decide that they're going to just, be unruly, but it's because he sets a different tone. It's natural. There's this expectation with me and there's a completely different expectation when he walks into that room.
Absolutely.
He is their role model, 100%, first and foremost. I am the one that helps, lead them into, the everyday goings, because I'm their first teacher, I'm their nurturer, but he is the one that they see, they resemble, they resemble a reflection of themselves. And so everything that he is, they yearn to be, and they're always waiting daddy to come home. He comes home, everything stops, and now we want to get wild, now we want to do this. And so those impacts matter. You've got so many people out here who are truly now like championing the need for boys to have more of a male dominating presence in their lives, because it's been really showing a way to make them feel better, because unfortunately you have so many boys that are on the rise of being lonely and dealing with things like isolation and suicidal rates, and they even have this big show that's breathing through Netflix called Adolescence, and the whole focus is on the drama around males and the fact that little boys don't have that standing work that they need to understand what it is to be a man. And so fathers are just so important in your home. Okay, so I'm gonna give it over to the father right now, because mine decided to wake up.
Okay, that's what's up.
I don't know about you, but these are delicious.
They are very delicious.
Okay.
Extremely delicious.
I was like, oh snap.
As soon as I bit into it.
I was like, these are freaking good.
So good, brother Nasi. I know you. I saw you. You were actually. I don't know if you were trying to answer the question by showing an example of doing the father thing. but please give us. But please give us. You know what I'm saying, your outlook on that. How impactful is the patriarch in the black family?
All right. Now if he's saying goes too far, she's sitting right here. The father figure in the house is very important. If the father is right, if he's moving right, he's correct, he's mature, and like you said earlier, if he has a strong foundation. One of the ways the father is correct when it comes, beneficial to the family, especially when it comes to children, is the young boys learn what a man is supposed to do in his day-to-day walking life, what he's supposed to do to keep his family together, how he's supposed to deal with problems and challenges. And you learn that from a man. A lot of people may disagree with me and say, well, I'm both the mother and the father, but I'm gonna speak for myself and for a lot of young men that I know. I wanted to learn how to do things from a male. I wanted to be strong like my father. I love my mother. I admired my mother. I still do. She's still here. But at the end of the day, I wanted to throw punches like daddy. I wanted to work out like daddy. I wanted to be a man that was respected. When you look at the young ladies, they understand when they see how their father treats their mother, if he's moving correctly, they automatically, it becomes innate inside of them to say, I want to pick a man that's like my father, so I can have a healthy family, so I can be treated right, so my family can grow. And also a healthy man, if the woman is healthy, because don't get it twisted, you can take a woman who doesn't have her head right, and she has a healthy man, that comes together, that's going to be negative. But let's say the woman is healthy and the man is healthy, this woman gets security. And it's so funny. A lot of us today, when we talk about security, we brag about financial things, money. I'm not saying that you don't need money. It ain't cool to be a man and be broke. It ain't cool to be opening your pocket and there ain't never nothing there. Maybe you fall on some hard times occasionally, but that's not what it's supposed to be. But that woman gets security, and not just physical security, right? There is mental security, emotional security. And then, if you're moving right with, the Most High, there's spiritual security. So just to sum it up, the man is like literally the sun. He rises on everybody, and if what he's doing is correct, his light shall shine. and his family shall move forward. So crucial, very important.
I appreciate, you ending off that question like you did, because you're absolutely right. And it's actually an excellent segue into, our main course question. So question that we want to start off with is how does society view the Black fathers? So good brother Nasi, give us your thoughts on that. How does society view the Black father?
Society, and well, from my opinion and my experience, absent, and they view us in a very negative light.
Mm-hmm.
TV and movies play a large part of that. The single mother raising the kids, struggling, father's out, having affairs, not around. Is that every single movie? Absolutely not. Is it a majority of the movies? Yes, it is. Negative. I can speak from some of my personal experiences. When I first got married and I had my child, it was amazing how so many people were trying to come in and teach me what to do, assuming that I had no prior experience. People forgot I have little brothers, little cousins, and I'm talking, there's a major age gap. We're talking like 20 years, 15 years. So I've been looking after babies and taking care of children for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And so I already got a lot of people coming in trying to tell me how to raise my child, what way to rear him in, as if I didn't know how to do it. Or we didn't even have a decent enough conversation to see if I needed guidance. Another thing that I experienced, the world automatically assumed, which I find to be very insulting, is, give a Black man a video game, give him some good food and some good sex, and he's just going to be happy. He doesn't really understand the budget. He doesn't really understand how to raise kids. This is nonsense. This is madness. And, this is how we're viewed. And it's horrible because, in reality, when you view an individual, a human being like that, you're not even looking at them as a human being. You're not looking at them as a person. What do you mean you give me good sex, good food, and some video games to play? This is insulting. When you look at a man's supposed to be someone to lead the family. A man's supposed to be somebody to help build the nation. That sounds like a clown to me.
Straight up.
You throw a little something at me and my mind gone. It's like, you get a woman who want to throw something at you, and you forget that, she can't even take care of children. She can't manage her emotions. You have to be a man to see those things. So society looks at us in a very negative manner. And I don't know if you run into the same thing where somebody comes in and they turn around and you do something very simple, something that a father should do. And everybody's looking around, they so amazed. Oh my God, you did that. That's so great. That's so good of you. That's so this. And it's like, no, this is my job. This is what every father should be doing. This is simple. This is simplistic. But because, you're a Black man, you're a Black father, and the way society views you, everything you're amazed. That's how society views us, not in the most positive way at all.
How does society view the Black father? It's it depends on who's asking and what's the social agenda at the time, unfortunately, you have the stigma. I'm not gonna say it's a stigma. I mean, it's very much a reality, on Black fathers not being there, not caring, not knowing how to be fathers, like even if you were given the chance, you wouldn't know what to do. And like you said, that understanding is consistently is consistently put out there. You know, it's trained. You know, there is, every time you see like you said on TV, you know, you see a TV show, if there is a black father, something's up. You know, maybe he's abusive, or maybe he's just too, he don't know what to do, or he's just always, out of the entire show, he be the only one crying. You know, like it's just, you know, it's just, there's got to be something to say, no, we got to show him in some lesser form than he is. And that's by design, clearly, you know, to try to make a black father either seem non-existent, and if he does exist, he is in need of so much help. How well of a father could he actually be?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I think we could all agree that that mostly the black father is viewed negatively in society. You know, that's what the media wants to put out. You know, that's what, you know, they do a very good job with putting that out into the media for everybody to see. They definitely make it seem like our communities are lacking father figures, you know, when that's definitely not the case. Statistics will show that's not the case, you know. So, but when it comes to us, I think, like I said, I think it's like a distraction, and it's definitely something that they try to do to make it seem like, you know, our fathers are not there. It's definitely something that they do to try to make it seem like, you know, our fathers are not there, you know, with their children, but they are, you know what I'm saying? They are, and they're doing beautiful work. Yeah, I just think they definitely, it's one of those things that is, it's negative, and we have to figure out, I guess, as a community, how to make that be portrayed differently.
And it's you know, we're all saying a lot of the same thing, and it's not to pretend as if, excuse me, it's not to pretend as if you don't have that this is all just some crazy conspiracy to tear down black people, and you don't have and don't believe it because all black fathers have been there, and they're always in, they always will be there. You know, obviously that's not the case, right? You do have some black fathers who
have struggles,
aren't doing, you know, what it is
absent.
They should do, who have been absent consistently or here and there. So, but you know, that does happen.
But the issue with that is black fathers never get the grace to, you know, with those struggles. It might be a struggle for them. Everybody else gets the grace, you know, to get to say like, oh, they may have been absent because. Right. But when it's black fathers, it's very different.
It's not. Everybody else gets to get some form of a reasoning.
Yeah, they have.
You know, but when it's us, it's just it's just nature. You don't know how to do
compassion and empathy.
Right.
When our people are not like that. We're very communal people. It's unfair. It's always this negative you know, view surrounding the black father. You know,
and you made what you brought up is an excellent transition to what we actually had as the second question. You know, which is what are the black fathers challenge? Nafisa, if you could lead us off with answering that, what are the black fathers challenges?
I think number one reasons the black father is faced with challenges of this idea of not being nurturing and not being a protector is a basic misunderstanding of societal roles. Automatically, that's just not you. You know, that's just, Black people altogether aren't built in a way to, accept a family dynamic. It's that nonsense right there. When historically in this country alone, all right, before the decline of so many Black men into incarceration due to uncivil and illegal practices against us, we were the number one family dynamic in the entire country. Okay.
Yep. Absolutely.
And so I think fighting the perception of simply, as my husband said, being out with his kid and doing what he's supposed to do is an everyday battle. You're constantly changing somebody else's idea and their preconceived notion about what you're supposed to be. And so, for example, my husband was going to, was it a bodega? Right? In the morning because he had to go get something to eat before he went into work that day. And he was running real late. Normally he would have had his breakfast already. But he was running out that door. And he went into the bodega. And there was, some regular, normal, ignorant mess happening in bodegas. Like, that happened. This is New York, okay? You ain't gonna not get rid of the ignorance, right? And so that was happening, and he was in front of I think this was an Arab American man who was leading the cash register at the bodega. And so the people who were deciding to be ignorant that day were a couple of Black people, right? It was about 2 Black people, right? And so he's in the back, just, basically rolling his eyes, shaking his head, right? Waiting his turn to get what he wants so that they can just go about their business. Because, look, many of us in New York here know to mind our business. I'm not jumping in somebody else's nonsense, even though I know very well, it's preposterous that it's happening.
Right.
And so, after they did whatever they did, they left. And then, Nasi steps forward, and he basically relates something to the cash reg. And the man who was running his business, he had they had exchanged words, and Nasi had said, that he was basically sorry that he had to deal with the nonsense he was dealing with, right, as he was getting his food. And so, like I said, this is a man from a completely different cultural background. Nonetheless, he basically said it, and he said it before I say what he said it in complete and utter sincerity. He meant everything he said, and he meant it in a very, I think he meant it in a heartfelt way. And so he said to him, oh, don't be mad at them, brother, because he recognized that my husband was Muslim from his turban. And so he said, don't be mad at them, brother, they can't help it. God has made those people that way, right? And so he said that as he was talking to a clear Black man in front of him. And so Nasi shakes his head and he said, no. He said, you and I both know that, if you're a man of faith and I'm a man of faith, it says right there in your book, everybody will be accounted for their actions. The Most High does not make us all to be ignorant, and that's just the race. He said, no, we will all be accounted for our actions. What they did is them. That is not all of us. And so immediately he gets shook and he says, oh, I'm sorry. You're right. And, he goes about his day. And he came home and told me that. And I was just like, and this is why, it is a struggle to simply be a normal, healthy, intelligent person in Black skin and not apparently have to go into some type of anecdote about how, bad stuff does not automatically come with us. Because that limitation is we're just born to disappoint. We're born to, affect your environment. We're just born to do that. And if we're not born to do that, then the only other place that we have is to serve you of some kind. And it's to cut the story short, that's what I believe the number one thing is affecting Black fathers is that the image that you have to fight every single day, that you are not somebody's, service boy, and you are not somebody's, thug, gangster, hooligan, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
You are just simply a intelligent man doing everything he can, like the other intelligent man next to you of a completely different race, background, and creed. You are out here doing what they do with all of our cultural ties to bring up a family. There's a consistent push to spin the narrative that is just never the case, because you just can't be that way.
So good brother Nasi, please follow up after that magnificent response from Nafisa. What are the Black fathers' challenges?
Yeah, like I was saying before, just I mean, I'm not going to try to open a can of worms, but people just really having faith that we know what we're doing and we can actually reach our goals. And, I'm going to keep it 100. It's not just with people who are not Black that we have these challenges. It's with people who are Black. It is with the women in our lives. Yeah. I'm not referring to our wives. Maybe they can speak upon that if they had any doubt in us at some point. But it is a big thing where you have a lot of men, Black men, marrying Black women, having children, and the woman does not believe that this man can accomplish the goals. That he can get to this next level. One, because society has conditioned them that no, we always need a lead. And that's a major challenge, because you see with that sets up a problem for children, especially men. If you believe your husband always has a lead, you're gonna raise your son in that same capacity. And if that teaching sticks, he's always gonna look for a lead. But then you can never say, where are our Black men stepping up? Where are our Black men helping, lead a nation? Can't lead a nation. You never raise leaders. So that's one of the biggest things we have as Black men, dealing with our own Black woman. Either it's the woman we married, our sisters, our mothers, our cousins, our aunts, the neighbors. Can this Black man lead? And some people say, well, you're too harsh, you're too critical. I'm not, because I've seen people when they engage with other nationalities, they on point. They respecting what this man is doing. He has given us all these problems and challenges. That's one of the things we face. And it becomes arrogance after a while.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, you see, you made a mistake here, you made a mistake here, you made a mistake here, you made another mistake here, but yet you're still gonna find a way to wrestle me on something. And your track record is mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. And we see this in our communities. I'm not saying nothing brand new. We see in our communities.
Yep.
Yeah.
We go into our community, and one of the biggest things we can see, and I don't say, and I'm not saying this because I've been affected by it. So many Black men, women, and families been affected by this, not just in here in America, but all over the world. Look how many young men we're losing to gun violence, gang violence, all these things. We're losing young Black men every single day by violence. And when you look back, 90% of the time, it is the same pattern of upbringing that's occurring, and it leads up to this person going. Am I blaming anybody? No, I'm not shooting and blaming. I'm just saying, if we enlighten ourselves to what's going on, maybe there could be a difference. And like you said earlier, this is for the Black men who are being responsible. These are for the Black men who are trying. These are for the Black men that's putting in work. We don't get acknowledged enough. And if you notice one thing right now on the internet, there's a growing trend of men, especially Black men, feeling isolated, alone, by themselves. And And you think, all right, this guy, he ain't got no girlfriend, he by himself, he lonely. No, a lot of these brothers that's speaking up is in our very situation. They're married with kids, big families, going to family reunions, talking about they feel totally by themselves. This is major. And you know why you feel by yourself? Because you're constantly fighting with the outside world. Now you got to turn around and fight the inside world with those who you love. So that's the challenge we face. Where can we get an actual line of support? And I'm speaking for Black men in the whole. Where can we get an actual line of support that understands what we're doing and can acknowledge our successes and not constantly recreate failures that are not happening?
Yeah,
I agree.
That's that's a lot. I mean, you know, I think you know what they say, right? With heavy lies the crown, right? You know, it's funny. In our situation is funny is an understatement, but you know, our situation is so unique as Black men, you know, especially here in this country. It's like on one end, you don't expect nothing from me, nothing good at least, right? And then at the same time, if I live up to that, it's like, oh, well, why are you doing that? You know, it's just like, you know, we're putting like this quagmire of a situation. Right? It's like, oh, I'm not, you know, there's so many. We're not expecting you to know how to be with a Black woman. We're not expecting you to want a Black woman. We're not expecting you to know how to raise a child and be with a child. You know, not expecting it. And then, if you don't want a Black woman, then it's, oh, how dare you for not wanting a Black woman? Oh, how dare you for not wanting to raise a child? You didn't even expect me to know how to do any of these things, you know. So it's like well, and that's our consistent predicament, you know. And like you were saying, good brother, it's you have the problem, right? The problem / enemy's influence. And then unfortunately, you got an internal one. It makes things very challenging for you. Now, you know, that internal one, you know, that can be, a lot of that is due to the influences placed, you know, on, like, for, you know, like your challenges as a Black father as relates to a Black mother. You know, like he was saying, I mean, depending on what she got growing up, she may be wanting nothing from you, not expecting you to know how to lead, not expecting you to know how to make proper decisions, not expecting you to want to even be with your child, not expecting any of this, but at the same time, holding you to all of those things. It's like insane, you know, and we have to find a way as Black fathers to deal with the weight of the world, the way the world forces us to be, and still come out strong through that. That's right. Our predicament is serious. It's serious. And then guess what? With all that being said, too bad. With all that being said, too bad. That's still your race to run.
That's right.
You know, ain't nobody got any tears for a Black man struggling. You know, not one. And through that mess, you still got to lead. Through that mess, you still got to find a way. Baby mama drama, you still gotta find a way. It's still on you. It's still on you. And you know, I'm not leading up to any conclusion that says, and it shouldn't be. That's not what I'm saying. Look, you're the lead, you're the lead, you're the lead.
Exactly.
Period. You can't sidestep it, you know. I mean, we all make mistakes, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's still on you. It's still on you, you know, and those are the challenges. Those are the challenges. Trying to deal with the stereotypes of the world. Trying to deal with what those stereotypes of the world have done to your black family and how they look at you, and then through all of that, you still gotta be a man. You know, and
you still have to father and try to find ways.
And then that's what I'm saying. And you still, through all that, you still gotta be a man. But that at the same time, and I'll end with this and pass it right on over to you, baby. At the same time, that's what makes us exceptional men, exceptional fathers, because nobody has to work, no other man has to work through, no other father has to work through what black fathers have to work through. And we do it. We do it. We fall short here and there. We get back up again and we do it, and we consistently do it. And if we were failing at it, there would not be as much pressure that you currently see to make sure that we don't succeed. If we were failing at it, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Leanne.
I think.
Do you need help with this? Because I have no problem.
Oh my gosh.
I think. Thank you so much. You look like you need. You see how I worded that? You need help. I'm helping you. You know what I mean?
Anyway,
go ahead.
Brother Narcy, you just seemed like you wanted to say something real quick before.
Oh no, sister, go ahead. No, because if I do, it's gonna be long-winded. No, go ahead.
I can't.
Please.
Let me know if I have to FedEx you some extra food. You just looking like you not getting fed enough.
He's getting more than actually. No thank you.
For those who for our YouTube watchers, they can see my face. But for our podcast listeners, ooh, y'all can see my face looking at Nafisa right now. Whatever. Anyway, why'd you take that back?
Because I'm food. Leave me alone.
Well, okay, you want to just do half?
No, I just want you to leave it alone.
We about to get dessert in a few minutes.
Chill out, bro. Thank you.
Just let me eat it. Like, you ain't got nothing to prove, okay? Just let me eat it.
You said you're talking about go get dessert in a few minutes, yet you trying to steal the woman's food. Just saying. This is right here. Husband problem.
I know.
Husband problem.
I know for me.
Black father challenges, brother.
Food? That's a black father.
Food, man. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Answer. Go ahead. You answer.
So,
excuse me.
I have had the blessing of having amazing father figures and role models in my life, from grandfathers to uncles. But my father, our relationship, beautiful now, alhamdulillah. It was very different growing up. You know, he wasn't necessarily there all the time. He had his own battles and struggles, and you know, sometimes that made him absent. And it definitely took a toll on me growing up, you know, just as a woman, you know, just trying to navigate things without having a father figure there. Alhamdulillah, like I said, I had uncles and I had my grandfathers, but it's very different when you don't have your father there, you know, your actual father there in the picture. But one of the things I noticed that as far as challenges are concerned, though he had his own struggles, I often felt that once I understood what was going on, younger, you don't really know what's going on. He's just not there. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you're just not there. You're not, you know, and I'm not saying that he shouldn't have tried harder. But what I am saying is, you know, there were often challenges that he had to face, whether it was with my mother, who is a beautiful woman and amazing, and I love her dearly. Their relationship, you know, often conflicted, and I was kind of in the middle, you know. So the challenge that you're right.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. The challenge that he often might have faced was, you know, someone saying, okay, you need to have this, and that. And if you want to see your daughter, you know, or, you know, it wasn't, listen, I love my daughter and I just kind of want to see her and be there for her without having to have all of these things. And I'm not saying that men shouldn't have all of these things, but sometimes, like I said, the grace is not there for them, especially the Black father. You know, it's like you have to have this going on and you need to have it. And if you don't, then you're a failure, or, you know, you're a deadbeat, like they would say. They say that a lot about Black fathers, that whole deadbeat thing. And I can't stand that, you know, and they're never given the compassion that other people are given to say that maybe they are actually going through something. Maybe society,
He said,
yeah, like maybe they are actually going through something and they need time to fix it mentally so they can come back and, you know, fix their family and mend their relationships, you know. They never get the opportunity to have that moment where, you know, maybe things are not just perfect, but they're trying. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that my father, he did try. He did try to call, you know, and after a while, I'll start to realize, like, oh, snap, you know, he would call, but my mom, you can overhear and be like, oh, you can't talk to her right now. You have some money, you know? Oh, no. Okay. And it's like, at what point does this man say to himself, and he feels beat down all the time, and say, fine, you know, maybe I'll talk to her when she gets a certain age where she can understand my side of the story, you know? Or does he keep trying? You know, like mentally, just the support that Black fathers, they don't have that support, that mental, you know, that let me help you with your mental wellness and your mental well-being. Let me, you know, where is that support in society for them? And I felt that my father, he really needed that, especially with his own battles. You know, he didn't have that. And to have someone that he truly loved, he definitely loved my mother, you know. He definitely loved my mother, and I'm not saying that she didn't love him, and I'm not saying she didn't have my best interest in mind. I think she did, or at least she felt like she did, you know, so I would never say that she didn't. But what I am saying is, you know,
you needed your father.
I needed my father, and I think he needed me too. And maybe, just maybe, if he would have had me and had that relationship, he would have pushed himself to get the help he needed much sooner. You know, I know as we got closer later on in our years, I think that really helped him to know that his daughter was there, and I supported him. Even if he had messed up, I was still like, okay, you're my father and I'm going to be there for you. And he had that support. And I think that helped him get to where he is today. And I think that is that's lacking in our community. That's lacking in society. That's lacking a lot of times in certain homes, that the Black man just doesn't have, the Black father, I shall say, just doesn't have that support so that he can, you know, I guess get better. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what else there is to say. So I think that, yeah.
I think you said it.
You said everything. You said a lot.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So
I wanted to just say something really quick as far as, you know, challenges and potential ways to, you know, overcome them if it was happening. I personally believe that and I really want to hear, you know, your response, or at least your take, Nasi. I personally believe that a black father is created most successfully, if not successfully, in the home, meaning by his father being there, and if he's blessed enough having brothers too, you know, that in-home male energy. I really think it is crucial in forming a black father, in forming a black man who knows how to lead, and then with that being able to then go out and lead. You know, you're having that example from ground up. I think that when that's there like that, then that's excuse me, then that's when you have what it is that we know we all need to see from our black fathers. I very much believe they really can only be grown in home. You know what I mean? What's your take on that?
I'm not going to 100% disagree with you. Not 100%.
Okay.
But I'm going to this is my disagreement on that. If you don't have a father at home, and you don't have the brothers, and you don't have the supportive family, where do you go? So now you need to step outside the box. And that makes it even more difficult, because now you got to get past people who try to manipulate you, use you, take advantage. And at that point, you're only a child. And whoa. So I would say, for me personally, fraternities, a lot of people may have an issue with that. If you can find a particular fraternity, churches, mosques, these different outlets that'll be there. Now, I know some brothers out there gonna be like, Aki, why would you tell somebody to go to a church? Because everybody's not a Muslim. They don't believe in Islam. Some people are Christians. And when we're talking about saving a life, you gotta kind of like grow up a little bit. If you don't believe in what we believe, but you go to church, you need a church where there are other men who are living examples that you could look and follow. And I know people in the church who are men. I met brothers in the masjid who are men. I met some brothers I never visited white synagogues, but black synagogues, very few that they have, who were men.
Yeah.
These were examples where you like, okay, you know what? Let me see how this brother, how he's dealing with his family, how he's dealing with his children, how he's dealing with his wife. So what that did for me was say, it is best in home, but I do think there needs to be branches in the community, because everybody does not have that. Somebody's father could have been that and they could have passed away. Now, whether they do. And one of the things I think is important when you deal with outside people, you get different points of views other than a point of view in your house. So, and it kind of opens up the door where it's like, okay, when you socialize with different people, you understand there's different culture norms, and it kind of equips you to say, well, you know what? This is cool where I'm at, but this is not cool over there, or they just don't like it. It could be something as simple as, like for me, for instance, I don't like people kissing my kid on the lips. I don't. I'm just like, why are you doing that for? And people like some cultures and other people are like, yo, this is what we do. I don't like it. This is something I didn't grow up doing. And my reasons are very clear because, people are married, and when they express their love to their spouse, they are expressing themselves to the fullest. And when you express yourself to the fullest, now you want to put the way you've been expressing is going to find.
You don't want bedroom lips on your kid.
You don't want bedroom. You don't want party time lips on your kid.
No party time lips on my kid, man. Get out of here.
I get it.
So some people are offended, but let's look at your expression and then think about, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so, there's so many things we can learn from being around different people and different cultures, and I believe that helps form a man, and I think that helps a little more. That's how I look at it.
Just to tag on.
Okay, I hear your point. I hear your point. Hold on, wait. What?
I said to tag on what he was going to say real quick.
Okay, hold on, wait. Before you do. I hear your point. And it's kind of like weird. It's like, and this is my only pushback, and after that I'm done. It's like for this, what the reason that you identify is also kind of like why I'm like, yeah, no, because one of the things that we say to our children all the time is just like, better me getting on you than someone out there who don't love you. I love you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I want the best for you.
Yeah.
That don't mean that I'm not going to get on you when I need to get on you. That don't mean I'm not going to yell at you, because you're doing something you're not supposed to do, whatever. That don't mean I'm not going to, discipline you, if you need disciplining. But understand that out there is no investment in you. There's no, there is, it's going to be a completely different way, a completely different feel. The way the world teaches you in comparison to how I teach you, yes, you will have different point of views, and that definitely has its place. But, I feel that a Black father, like I said earlier, that found he provides that foundation, and the best foundation that can be provided for him is the foundation that has been provided for him growing up, so that's in the house with that father's influence, with your brother's influence, if anything, that inner family influence, because it's coming from a place of love. You don't have to find out later on if you're dealing with somebody from outside that what they taught you and how they came at you was coming from something else, and now you got to carry that on your shoulders and deprogram and yada yada yada.
Do you feel that way because that's how you were raised? Like that's exactly what was going on in your household. It wasn't necessarily like a communal thing.
I would definitely say that I am obviously partial
to that because of
you
didn't have that communal based type of
right.
So okay, Nafisa, you were gonna say something. I'm sorry.
No, what I was gonna say to my husband's point was like Ijlal, because we come from the same household, but we were raised. If it didn't happen in the walls of that home, then it could be something to consider, but it really didn't matter before anything else in that home. That's how we were, As a result of it, we are very cliquish. We really are. They drive crazy sometimes. We're very cliquish.
You don't gotta go.
So I can understand, the complications of not being able to see other sides. But because of that, when I finally was able to be the adult and leave the home and, went to college and started to work with other walks of life, you start to see how other people move when it comes to their family. And for me, I was around a bunch of people from different parts of the world because my studies all revolve around, languages. I love learning languages. So I would be around a huge deal of both the Latino, the Asian, and the African community. That was like most of the basis. You know, I went to school in Queens, and that was like
Asian too, right?
Yeah, that's like
center Koreans.
Yeah. So you know, in Queens, like the huge basis over here. I would be around a good deal of the Asiatic community, the African community, and the Latino community. And when we are talking about the basis of manhood, you know, into fatherhood, not every single one of them have the perfect family dynamic. However, you know, we were talking about the representation and societal norms earlier. You know, a big part of Black men's problem, the Black family's problem, is, you know, lack of marketing. Because, you know, that topic for us isn't interesting. It doesn't bear fruit, you know, it doesn't make it rain. Only the negative stuff does, you know, the thug life, the ludicrousy, the so-called sexy reds, all of that crap that don't nobody want to represent nobody, is what is pushed forward. And in these communities, you don't see that. You don't see that you are led to believe that everybody is in a two-parent home, nobody gets divorced, the children are upright and they're very strong and they're leading forward. And that is a good deal of truth for a good deal of families, but for many families, they have these struggles, they have these breaks. There's nobody in there to really give them a perspective of manhood. And there's sometimes nobody there to give the perspective from womanhood. You know, I've met many of the women from my friends, they were raised only by their fathers. Their moms, wherever they were, they weren't there, right? But there's this idea that this only happens in Black families, in Black households. And what I think is the key is the reason why it's so well guarded in other communities is because the one thing that I wish we really would get together as a people, particularly the Black American diaspora, because again, other Black cultures do this. They really do work that we are a village concept. So no matter your shortcomings, the village will take care of it. You know, they have their kids set up where it's like, okay, well, dad's not there, but here, you're going to go into these schools, you're going to go into these after school programs. We already have made friends with 6 mothers. And no, does everybody live next to each other? No, they don't, but they live within the radius. They're automatically hooking and linking up. They're trying to make dates with their children. They are very, very particular about keeping their culture, their identity, their nationality in sync, as if they're living in their country, and they force it on them over here. They continuously create a dynamic where it's like, all right, well, you may not have a grandmother, but these 3 houses have a grandmother. Guess who's that? That's your grandmama now. And they continuously do this. And so it becomes this thing where, all right, you don't have those men in the family. You know, my father is gone, or he just never was there, or no, I don't have any siblings. But it's like, okay, but all of these families, they have siblings. Guess what? They want you over. Now you guys become a family in itself, and they continue that on.
I hear what you're saying, Nafisa. Thank you very much for piggybacking off of what Nasi was saying, and like I said earlier, I'm obviously I'm partial, but I definitely see the viewpoint. So we're going to go ahead and transition into the last question of the main course, because someone still has their main course. So why not finish? Everybody else finished eating, but whatever. Anyway, the last question
I like to savor my food. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So the last question is, how have you been a father who stands firm? As far as so obviously this is more of a directed question, really to me and Nasi. But yeah, so your brother, you wanna go ahead first, or you want me to jump at it? How have you been a father who stands firm?
To be honest with you, man, me and my father did not have a good relationship growing up. It was it would really fall into the typical story you hear with most young black men and their fathers. It was extremely difficult for me growing up. I got caught up in a lot of things, man, a lot of stuff. And by Allah's mercy, I'm here today. So, how have I learned to stand firm? Very simple. And let me listen, my father's no longer here. We made peace. You know, by Allah's mercy, I was able to give him shahada by Allah's will. A Muslim.
Great.
You know, in sincerity. So, you know, for us, we say, may Allah widen his grave, grant some peace, grant some Jannah. But how I stood firm as a father was actually providing within reason what I have lacked growing up. And I say within reason because, you know, that could be used as a weapon against you, or you can overdo it and you know, impose on your own child's life in another unhealthy manner. So, firm as a father, I would be very clear. Regardless of whoever it is, and me and my wife get into these disputes. If I see it could hurt my children, if I see it can put them in a compromising position, then I myself personally will do everything I need to do to protect them. And standing firm is protecting not just their physical, but their mental and their spirit. I have to stand very firm on that because verbal abuse, right? Mental abuse, feeling separated, those things destroy the mind of what? Destroy the mind of a child, destroy the mind of a young man or a young woman, destroy their confidence. So what I stood firm on was this. I will not put them in any position that's going to destroy their mental, emotional, or, you know, obviously physical well-being. I had to stand firm on that. Second thing I had to stand firm on is my relationship with the Creator as a man. You speak from an Islamic point of view. Sometimes the harder we strive to please Allah, the more we get criticized, right? So if we want to take our time to go to the masjid and make prayer, we can find people around us. You're not our family, it's other people. Oh, can't you relax? You're taking it too serious. Now, people say, why are you bringing it up? What does that have to do with standing firm? My wife can't trust me. Your wife can't trust you. If we ain't, as far as our lifestyle is concerned, that may not go for everybody else. But if you're not dedicated to, for us, if you're not dedicated to Allah, I can't trust you. Like, I cannot trust my mate. My wife trusts me because my dedication towards my Creator. So I had to stand firm with building a relationship with my Creator that has also gave me the peace I was lacking. And that takes a lot, my brother, because when you combine those two things and then you're raising children and trying to have a family, I ain't gonna lie to you. I got nothing but adversity coming at me left and right. And I have to stand firm in those two things in order to get over the hump. So those two things, I mean, I could talk about 100 things, but I've just said those two.
That was pretty tight. That was good. How have I been a father who stands firm? So, you know, I little something, you know, that we all are unaware of. You know, me and Leanne, my wife here, have been married for the last 15 years. We've already stated that, and you know, we have 4 children together, and you have a bonus. I have a bonus son, right? So when I mention my oldest son, when I say that, that's obvious. That's Leanne's biological son, and not mine. But you know, I've been raising him since he was 7, so I consider him mine. Anyway, I also have 3 girls. Well, they're women now, pretty much, from 2 previous marriages. 2 girls from my very first marriage, and then one girl from my second marriage, and it's interesting. Kind of like the whole conversation kind of comes into play, right? I mean, it comes to this point. As far as me being a father who stands firm. What I didn't stand firm in as a father initially in my first marriage was making sure that, Allah came first, that God came first. And that played a major part in that marriage dissolving. I quickly learned from that lesson. I was always Muslim. I was born Muslim, but my Islam was lacking. I corrected that by making sure that I found a Muslim woman. We went about it the right way, and we got married. But there was still my Islam still needed a lot of work as it relates to me being a father. Like Nasi wonderfully explained, if my foundation as far as my Lord is concerned is not solid, then a lot of the troubles that we previously talked about, a lot of the challenges that black fathers have to face, are going to become just that much harder to defeat and get over and deal with.
Yeah.
Because your foundation as it relates to your Lord is not where it's supposed to be, or it's not as strong as it should be. And due to that, those challenges, and my not being firm in my faith, it affected my ability to be the father that my daughters needed. I am at this point owning up to mistakes that I've made, because there's always two people involved in parenting or lack thereof, so I'm just stating my part. What I definitely have been able to stand firm in as a father is having a peace of mind. It is extremely important for a black father, for a black man to be successful in anything, to have a peace of mind.
That is so true.
And if you don't have it, you can, just because you're there don't mean you're there. You dig what I'm saying? Just because you come home as a father and they see you, and you go to the baseball games or whatever, doesn't necessarily mean that you are doing the job that's needed as a father. And if you don't have a peace of mind, especially as a black man in this world, it's whatever you're doing, man, it ain't gonna work, and I very much needed a peace of mind, and it wasn't my peace of mind had to mean more to me than just being there, just trying to be there. Because those challenges that a lot of black fathers run into when they're trying to be there are real. Yes. It does not, and will never, it'll never make up for the fact that whatever, that child still needs you. It'll never make up for that. You know what I'm saying? That's the truth. Yeah, you got challenges. Yeah, you and mom, whatever, can't get it together. I still need you. That's the truth. The reality is those challenges hit hard. They hit hard, and they force you to make a decision. To keep dealing with them and fight through and try to keep your sanity for the sake of making sure that you're there for your children as best as you can be, even if your state of mind is whack and it won't really help them, but whatever, you're there. Or you have to make a decision to say, you know what? I got to put myself in a good position so I can be something of use to you. A lot of Black fathers can relate to what I'm getting ready to say. And a lot of Black mothers can understand it if they choose to. Sometimes that decision means I need to step away. I need to step away and I need to try to get myself together, because life still comes at me and still goes on for me. You know, and I need to be able to do that so then I can try to re-enter and be something good for you. You know, and that's very much what it was for me. So, you know, if you ask my oldest girls, they may not have a lot of great things to say. But let me make you understand what a peace of mind really does. If you ask my two boys, my three boys, if you include my stepson, and you ask my other two girls, they will have great things to say, because as far as they're concerned, Daddy has been there every step of the way. They're able to say that because I was able to have a peace of mind. That's why they're able to say that. And I always knew that if I was on my deen, was on my religion like I was supposed to, first and foremost, I can get to the peace of mind where I can find me a good woman, you know, who understands that this life is serious, and we made a commitment to Allah and ourselves, and we're going to hustle through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To help me with my peace of mind. You know, so how I've been a father who stands firm. I've been a father who stands firm by saying my deen comes first. My religion comes first. My belief in Allah comes first before anything else on this earth.
Yes.
And I gotta be right mentally, and I can't let anything affect that, because if it's not, then everything I'm doing is going to be off. Everything I touch is going to be off.
Thank you, my
you
God.
know. Yep. So yeah, man. I mean, that's very much how I stand firm as a father, and my youngest children have been able to benefit from that, you know, and who he has around him, especially in his home, i.e. his wife, the mother of his children, plays a critical part in making sure that he has that peace of mind, or at least helping in making sure that he has that peace of mind. You know, so yeah, man, that's you know, Allah first and a peace of mind is how I stand firm as a Black father. Okay, so you know, we are now at the end of the meal where the wonderful dessert comes out. So please, Nafisa, can you show and talk about your dessert again?
Okay, yeah. So what I decided to do today was I decided to make some homemade chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwiches, in which you have some traditional old-fashioned good churn vanilla ice cream and fresh baked chocolate chip cookies, some double side with coated in some chocolate sprinkles. The chocolate sprinkles I did not make too big, but here are my ice cream sandwiches.
Oh yeah, homemade ice cream sandwich, and it looks like an ice cream sandwich.
I just want to point out that she is a stay-at-home mom with two little ones. She homeschools and she has a very little one actually, and she made homemade ice cream sandwiches, from the ice cream to the cookies and everything. I know it's Father's Day, but I just think that's absolutely amazing.
I appreciate my flowers. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yes.
Good job, Mom.
My feet hurt.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
All right. What are you trying to get? Okay. It's Father's Day. Okay.
I know.
Calm down.
That matters.
Okay. And what is this again?
This is vegan.
I need to know more about how that's vegan. I gotta say,
chocolate mousse.
That looks so good.
So it's interesting, but the mousse is actually made with tofu.
What?
So did you know that when you tasted it earlier?
No.
Yes. It is tofu.
No. Look, you were liking it. Eat it.
No, he's not tripping.
I know.
He's just surprised. Yeah, he's not tripping.
I saw you buy the tofu, and I'm like, I don't know what she's doing with
Where
it.
did she put the tofu?
Where did she put the tofu?
Or the tofu's in the mousse. Okay, so we have it's layered, and it has the whipped cream, it has the mousse, and it has strawberries in it, and that's what we have. So we have a vegan mousse.
That is
man.
Yes. So vegan chocolate mousse. Yes.
I love
Okay,
those
let's see.
layers.
Oh. How will you say? What did you say, Nafisa? I didn't hear you. Say it
I
again.
said I love the layers. I love a layered dish.
That's nice, right?
I love it.
Good job. Good job, baby. Okay, so winding it up as we eat our vegan mousses and chocolate mousses and homemade ice cream sandwiches. We're going. The last question being, how has your father affected your life? So, go ahead and we haven't started with you yet.
I don't think so.
Okay, so go ahead.
Okay.
Man, let's
So,
how has your father affected your life?
My father, he allowed for me, my relationship with him, whether it was whether
I'm sorry.
you know, even during the early stages, he really allowed for me to understand that the Black father should be afforded the opportunity of redemption. So, you know, he, you know, like I said, he had his own struggles. You know, he had battles, but there was no doubt that I don't think my father didn't love me. He definitely did and always has.
Yes, he does.
You know,
I'm so happy when he's talking to you.
Oh yeah. When we're chatting, right? But, you know, through our relationship and through just being there for him, you know, it helped me understand that everybody should have, especially Black fathers, who in this society don't often get the opportunity for a second chance. They should be able to have a second chance to redeem themselves, to come back stronger than ever, because, you know, they're human and they can make mistakes too. You know, it's like Brother Nasi said that. They're right over there. Slow down, sweetheart.
I'm good, man.
Okay.
That's what you're saying. Brother Nasi said, hey,
Okay.
I got this.
Black fathers, you know, we should be able to see the human side of them. You know, they, you know, they're human just like everyone else. So they should have that opportunity. And I think my relationship with him, he has affected me in such a way where I can quite literally say that, you know, all Black fathers should have that opportunity. Just, you know, because society doesn't often give them that. But at least within their families and those who love them, they should be able to have that opportunity. So I think that's what my father has done for me. Yeah.
So, Nafisa, how has your father affected your life?
When it comes to my daddy, I mean, look, that man has always been, for lack of a better expression, he's the first representation of a man and a husband and a romantic icon and anything that you'd actually fill in the facets of, oh, what would I want as a man? All of those boxes that you look to when you're a little girl and you're trying to understand what it is that you want, and it's outside of fiction novels that you grow up thinking, oh, that's how he's supposed to treat me. I mean, he's filled every single box. He's the first representation of all of those things for me, because I got to see what manhood and fatherhood looked like through his interactions with my mother and through his interactions with us, and trying to understand us while also, battling his own personal skeletons. I can't say anything more other than just how much, I love him. I love him so much. And he is, blessed with 79 years, and I pray he still will be with us for many more. And I know he's sitting there probably on his couch right now watching another trend of his favorite shows. And there's just things about him that I can depend on. That security makes me feel, whole and happy. And I pray that I have that security when I get older for my own children, that they see us in that way. That's it.
I mean.
All right. I mean. Now, see?
Well, hey, man. My father's lack of not being there was crucial. And it was painful. As a child, I used to wish, hope, and pray that he would change his ways and would be there. Allah decided that was not going to be answered. And that actually became my strength, because it did show me how to love. It showed me how to really see people for who they are, and it showed me how to give love. So I am blessed in a way, because I actually know I don't take these things for granted. I don't take a good father, a solid family for granted, as if it will always be here, because I know what it's like not to have it, I know how hard it is to form one, and I know how hard it is to maintain one. Lack of gave me the ability to try to keep. So may Allah bless my father, but that's one of the biggest things I did get from my childhood, my experience with him.
So, how has my father affected my life? In the most positive way possible. When you're a kid and I don't even think you knew this, Nafisa, but when you're a kid, and you try to think of, what does Allah look like? What does God look like, right? I would imagine my father's face. I'm so serious. Because not that I thought that he was Allah. It wasn't that. It was just that I couldn't think, if I'm thinking of one who is mighty, strong, and powerful, and all-doing, and all-capable. As a kid, I see him. That's who he has been in my life as a child, and growing up, he was bigger than life. And answering his question as a child and as an adult, as a child, it was just impressive and loving. As an adult, how he's affected my life was he taught me two things. One, well, a number of things, but anyway, two things. One, a man needs to have a good woman so he can have a peace of mind and build. He taught me that by being with my mother. And I saw just how much she helped him. And he also taught me through his actions how to keep a good woman. And that's very crucial to me being a black father. Keeping a good woman, i.e., the mother of my children. So, yeah, he was the example that I needed as a young black man. He was the example I needed as a little boy. He was the example I needed as a man with a family. You know, and he's never stopped serving that. He's never stopped being that example. Personally, he is the best man I know. And that is how he has affected my life.
I mean.
So, I mean. We have had yet again another great dinner and a podcast. Great food. The dinners looked great. They were delicious. My wife did not finish eating it, just so everybody knows. I was willing to help, but no. Anyway, the desserts were delicious. Homemade ice cream sandwich, y'all. Vegan chocolate mousse. Man, go ahead. All right. If you're not loving dinner and the podcast already, you will be. Okay. So, I mean, everything's been great. Have y'all enjoyed yourselves?
Definitely.
Yes. This was yet another great one in the books, you know. So thanks everybody once again for joining us for dinner and the podcast as always. We hope you enjoyed the show. You know, thank you very much for continuing to watch. We keep seeing the views go up and up and up. Please continue to watch. Please continue to share. Tell your friends about us. All right, because we doing big things. Okay. Continue to like, subscribe, please. Okay. Share. All right. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Give us some engagement. You know what I'm saying? Please give us some comments. Tell us, you know, hey, I dig that point. You know, well, I disagree with that point. Well, this is what my father did. Well, this is how my marriage works. You know, this is what we're looking to do. I mean, we're about we're about building a legacy here, you know, and we're presenting, but we also want y'all to take part in this. We are having dinner with you, even though we're not in your home. So please continue to do that. Please continue to like it. We very much appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button as always. Also, listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Okay, please just continue to enjoy what we're doing here. Please always remember, build family, build love, build black, and make sure you eat good while doing it. Good night, good black people.
Good night.
Bye, people.